Title is Delight in Life, and our purpose is to inspire us. It's going to be 8 to 10 minutes. A delight in life. Amen.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good
I'm
morning.
so excited to be with you today. Let me tell you, it's been a tough couple of days. I was going to write my speech yesterday, and I knew what I wanted to talk about, but I thought, I want this to be a really good speech because I don't seem to have a lot of depth in here in thinking about speeches. So my brother said, have it be an AI speech. So I was going, I shouldn't say so. I know someone should be clicking me. And I decided that I was going to use AI, so I waited until the last minute to write my speech. 3:00 yesterday afternoon, I'm cleaning out a house of a person who's passed away, and I get a call from my husband, and he says that our dog has gone to the doctor's office, and he has a temperature of 105. We are mortified. This is the fruit of my womb. This is Ron's favorite dog, Stormy. He knows 100 tricks. And then I get the next call, and the next call says that Stormy has gone on to the emergency room, the emergency hospital down the way on Sorrento Valley. So forget AI, forget thinking about a speech. I'm going to wing it. Let me tell you, years ago, I wanted to become a flight attendant, and I was. And I was on a flight from Washington Dulles Airport. I worked for United. I worked from Washington Dulles Airport to Los Angeles. And I was going across the tarmac. They have a little bus that takes you right across the tarmac to bring you to the United terminal. And I get on the bus, and it's very crowded, and you're always flustered. And I meet a woman who has a beautiful big smile, and she is laughing, and I thought she was a flight attendant. And I said to her, are you a flight attendant? She said, no. I said, I know you. I go, you have a beautiful smile. Then we talked a little about the weather. We talked about some insignificant things. Then I saw her son. He had the most beautiful blue eyes I had ever seen. He was so gorgeous and about 40 years younger than I. And I was almost embarrassed whenever I looked at him because he was so cute. In the meantime, we get across the tarmac, we go to our flights, and I'm the chief purser on a 767. And we hear about a man who has AIDS who wanted to get on board the flight. And we were trying to figure out whether we would be allowing him to come on because he was vomiting. He was very sick to his stomach. He wanted to die in Los Angeles. And normally the airlines don't allow a communicable disease on board their flights. Anyone that's really sick, they don't agree to. The flight attendants and the captain and the customer service agent, we all had a powwow, and we took a vote, and we decided that we would allow the man to come on board. And we quarantined off a section of business class, and we allowed the man to sit there. Now, while we were in the jetway discussing it, this beautiful woman who happened to be on my flight, who was the woman I had met on the bus to the tarmac, pops up and says, my son and I would love to give up our first class seats if you would like to give him our seats. We'll take a later flight. We'll sit in economy. We'll do anything. And I thought, this woman what a beautiful woman. We said no. In the meantime, we agreed to take him. And so I looked at my flight manifest, and of all things, it was Carly Simon. Well, Carly Simon has been one of my favorite singers my entire life. Now, some of you may know her by You're So Vain. You probably think this song is about you. I knew her from a song that had to do with from my childhood that had to do with walks on the sidewalk, and it was a sweet, sweet song about memories past. So as I was talking to Carly, I said, you know, Carly, my mom is the biggest fan of your music. And she said, really? I said, yes, my mom gets into the swimming pool every day to your music because she loves it. She has a favorite song. And Carly said, what song is that? So I tried to describe the song to her. Carly proceeded to sing to me this song that was my favorite song all through high school. I would sing it to you, but I don't want to destroy it. And it was just a lovely, lovely experience. I got to know her son. Her son's name was Ben Taylor. He was James Taylor's son. And I was the total dumb blonde. I was like, oh, do you play music too? Well, he's about as good as his father is. He has a wonderful voice. He and his mother were headed out to Film Noir. That they were recording a record called Film Noir. They were headed to Burbank to do some big promotional thing for recording this album. And it was just a wonderful experience. A little later in the flight, she asked me how the man, very sick, was doing. And I said, you know, he's just lying there or sitting there like this. I said, why don't you go sing to him? And she said, do you think? And I said, yeah. She ripped off her seatbelt. She got up, she squatted down by the man, and she sang him a song. And it was just beautiful. In the meantime, she and her son said to me, we want you to visit us in the Cape or Cohasset or somewhere out there in Boston. And I would have taken her up on it, or I should have taken her up on it, but I didn't. But I will tell you, it was one of the desires of my heart to meet Carly, and to have her sing my favorite song right to me was amazing. That's number one. Number two is, does anyone remember that TV show Lost?
Yes.
Well, I had a crush. I don't know the actor's name, but I know on the show he was, I just had a brain fart. He was John Locke. And John Locke, he was kind of a bald man that was one of the key characters on the show. Well, I had the biggest crush on John Locke. Well, one day I'm down in Harvest Ranch Market and eating my pastry, and in walks John Locke. And I start shaking. I can't believe John Locke's there in Harvest Ranch Market. The girl that I was with was very assertive, and she said, well, I'm just going to go meet him. So she went over and she met him, and she asked him to come over and talk to me. And he did, and he gave me a hug. That's number two. I had a desire in my heart to meet this actor, and it happened. Number three. Number three is I am a flight attendant, and I am on the flight with Betty White. And I don't usually ask for autographs, but I asked her for an autograph. She pulled out a piece of paper in her purse, and she wrote it out. And it was a paper for my mother. And then she crumpled it up and she put it back in her purse. And then she whipped out another piece of paper and started to write it. And then she crumpled it up and put it back in her purse. Then she wrote another one, and she must have made it 3 pages, writing about how honored she was, how my mom was so blessed to have me as a daughter. And anyway, just very, very nice things from Betty White that I brought home to my mother. Now, I will tell you, all 3 of those things were desires that were in my heart, not that I had thought about, but they were just there. And the way that I choose to live my life is to be very grateful. I was driving to Toastmasters this morning, and I saw these beautiful yellow flowers down by the bridge, and they're weeds, but they're beautiful, and they cause a surge in my heart of joy. So with that, I always give a thank you. Now, there is an old Hebrew proverb that says, delight yourself in God and he will give you the desires of your heart. And that's exactly the way it has been in my life. Today, I ask you to join me in just thinking about my little dog, Stormy, and hoping that God will give me the desires of my heart, that Stormy gets out of emergency room and comes home. Thank you.
Thank you.